What's good, everybody? Happy Monday evening to everyone, Buckeye Nation, Buckeye Scoop family. Hope you are doing well. Do me a favor, hit that like button, that thumbs up. Soon as you get your eyes on it, click it, punch it, slap it, fight it, whatever you got to do. Also, if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. You're here every night. Click that button, hit the bell. You'll get notifications whenever we go live on your preferred device. We're going to talk about the ongoing saga of Hartline and the dilemma, what's going on, things people have not considered behind the scenes with, he's down in USF right now. We're getting ready for an opponent. It's a lot going on. We're going to dive into that and some other things as well. But in the meantime, remember when you send those wonderful super chats, helps to go towards the Pay It Forward, which is our military and our first responders. We're going to look out for them because they always look out for us. Nevada, funny, real quick. I had a guy on my social media leave a comment. He said, "Dang it, B Moses, you got that daggone pay it forward phrase stuck in my head." That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But anyway, how you doing on this Monday evening, bro?
Well, I'm first of all, I'm doing great. Second of all, if you're listening to the show, make sure you subscribe to the channels, go over to Apple Podcasts, subscribe. We've had just this huge uptick of subscribers on both YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and we just really appreciate it. So, guys, thanks so much for supporting the show. As we're coming to air, I saw they released the finalists for the Heisman, the
Yep.
Heisman people, and it sounds like it's Mendoza, Pavia from Vanderbilt, Jeremiah Love, and Julian Sayin, the freshman quarterback from Ohio State. So that's great. I mean, what a great honor for Julian. You know what I'm saying? What a great honor for Julian. I know, I talked in one of my kind of crazy predictions things at the beginning of the year that both him and JJ would be invited to the Heisman ceremony. And JJ seemed a little chalkier than Julian. Um, but wow, what an accomplishment for him. Obviously not going to win, but I think it's amazing that he's even got there and certainly sets him up for a nice 2026 run. And I think that's a good thing. I hate the Heisman um, distraction. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
all the stuff that kind of comes with it. And maybe I'm still 20 years later, I'm still stinging from the Troy Smith going and winning, and then we lay an egg in the national championship game, type of situation. I know that doesn't always happen. Um, but this is the time of year when you've got time off, and there just seems to be a lot of distractions for these guys. And hopefully, Julian can kind of keep it straight and enjoy the trip out to New York and enjoy the ceremony, and then kind of get back for business.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm looking at, okay, Pavi is a senior. So I was thinking to myself, like you said, this sets up nicely next year. He's not going to win this year. But he'll be the Heisman front runner next year. I mean, him or JJ. So that's good for him. And listen, he's still young. Julian Sayin is still young. We even saw in the Indiana game, there's some things he still has to learn and work through. As really good as he is, he's still learning. And so imagine him with another offseason, just another year of experience. He's going to be great. He's going to be great. So yeah, that definitely, that news broke about 10 minutes ago or so. And so interesting. I don't know about Pavia. What do you think about Diego? Diego Pavia has good stats, but it seemed like they kind of maybe crammed him in there for that SEC viewership. I don't know. I mean, he's a good player, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to force feed him as kind of a viable candidate. You're right. You got to have somebody out of the SEC. So typically you look to a quarterback of one of the big two. Ty Simpson for Alabama. Yeah, kind of there, and
Right.
the quarterback for Georgia's even. I mean, he's like the 69th ranked quarterback in the country, so you can't push him. So then they had to go down to Pavia. Great story. I think this is like his sixth or seventh year in college because he
Yeah.
was the guy that challenged the whole thing about junior college years shouldn't count against you. I mean, like I don't even know what's going on anymore with eligibility rules. And he's been around. I find Diego Pavi kind of annoying. I find his whole family's annoying. He's annoying. So I will not watch the Heisman ceremony. I will not watch 1 minute of the Heisman ceremony because I think I'll end up just being annoyed the whole time.
Yeah, you definitely are. The segment where they, show him and his family, and it's gonna be like nails on a chalkboard if you're annoyed by him. It's
Yeah.
times 10. So yeah, should be interesting. Mendoza will probably win because they won on Saturday, which is fine. Um, and yeah, bro, listen, I share, and before we get to the topic at hand, I'll just say I share your sentiment about 2006, man. 2006, that whole season, it started off so great. Like I have a lot of great memories in 2006. Troy Smith topping it off with a win against Michigan, 1-2. But that Florida game just murdered one of the best, funnest seasons that I can remember. And so, yeah, I mean, like you said, it doesn't always mean the Heisman will mean it'll be a distraction, but it was just a lot of mess, and it's just unfortunate that season ended the way it did because it was a great season up until that point, Nevada.
Yeah, no, that was fun. The 1-2 game, maybe the most epic game in the history of the stadium. Certainly got to be in the discussion.
Yeah,
Just for all the hype and the fact that Bo died the night before the game. I mean, just like it had
a lot.
every single possible type of element that you could have. But yeah, no, I think though that the lesson from that, you win that game, you have the long layoff, and you come there and could they really refocus? Could they really address any of the issues that they had? I mean, Ohio State's not going to have that issue this year, man. I'm telling you what, the next 2, 3 weeks are not going to be pleasant time. Those guys are going to want to wash that taste out of their mouth from that terrible performance, because that was a bad performance against IU, at least on the offensive side of the ball. The defense,
Yeah,
I can't say a thing about the defense other than well done, boys. But offensively, just so much to clean up. And the good news is, I think they will. They've got the time. They've got the time to refocus, and nobody is sitting in the Woody Hayes right now thinking, "Hey, wow, we did good. We don't need to change a thing. Let's
right.
just do that. Let's just do that again." And wow, we're the national champions. I guarantee you those conversations aren't taking place. That kind of segues right into the topic at hand, B, which is
Yeah,
the Brian Hartline thing. And the Brian Hartline thing, what's interesting, and what I don't think a lot of people are kind of, you got to take a step back and look at this right now and go, here's the dilemma. The dilemma is Brian Hartline's very popular with some of your best players. Okay. Brian Hartline's obviously very popular with Jeremiah Smith, with Carnell Tate. You know what I'm saying? The wide receiver room, um, certainly it's not more important than any other room on the team, but it's an important room. It's certainly
right.
been the tip of the spear for Ohio State. And Brian's the guy that recruited all those guys. Very popular guy, kind of spiritual leader, fires those guys up. And so you want to treat him right. You don't want to turn a good thing into a bad thing, and all of a sudden have people be walking around kind of moping because they feel like, why is Brian leaving? Whatever that circumstances is. So Ryan's got a hand. He's got to thread the needle on this. But then you flip on the other side and you go, what about South Florida? Brian is the head coach at South Florida right now. He's the head coach. Now he
Yeah,
may not be acting, as the head coach in terms of stuff, but people don't realize South Florida's practicing right now. South Florida practice today. They are practicing right now. South Florida plays in a bowl on the 17th
it's crazy.
against Old Dominion. They have a bowl game next Wednesday against Old Dominion. And Brian Hartline is the head coach of South Florida. Brian Hartline he's got to protect all the players, because you understand South Florida is a guppy for the bigger fish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And the coach that Gorsh that left South Florida to go to Auburn, he's going to want to be poaching the players, just like Signetti did from James Madison to Indiana. You know what I'm saying? He's going to want to take they've got a great junior wide receiver that everybody's going to want to be in on. All the big fish are going to be circling around USF, and USF. You're talking about an NIL budget of probably $2.5-3 million max down
mm,
there in USF. Going up against schools, $25-30 million for the big schools right now. So Brian's got to protect that. Now, that's a new situation for Brian. Brian's always been part of the Death Star. Brian's always been on, Ohio State, where we've got the most resources, we've got the best facilities, we've got the best strength and conditioning, we've got the pedigree. So he's been a great recruiter, but he was always operating with the black, the platinum American Express card, or the black platinum American Express card, or whatever the
right.
highest American Express card is. He's going down. He's got maybe the green one now, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe like the Costco card that he's got down there in South Florida. Now I know
Or
South Florida's building.
chime, maybe a chime
Well,
card.
Something like that, you know what I'm saying? So he's got some really unique challenges, but he's got to protect his roster. He's got to build his staff, his on-field staff. He's got to build his accountable 10. He's got to build his strength and conditioning, his support staff, his administrative staff, I mean, he's got to build all of that while they're going through a bowl game, while he's trying to protect his roster. Oh, and by the way, he's also the offensive coordinator at the Ohio State University, coming off a dreadful performance in the Big Ten championship game and trying to reprogram that for a huge game coming up against Miami or Texas A&M, who he should be in massive preparation for right now.
Yeah.
And so, he's got 200-hour-a-week jobs that he's trying to dangle at the same time. And how does he do it? How does he? I mean, I think this is a huge dilemma for Ohio State right now, because I think that Ryan has locked himself into a position with Brian about, we're going to keep Brian around through the play. They don't want to do him dirty. They don't want to do him wrong. They don't want to embarrass him. But I don't think they're doing him any favors by keeping him on this, because I'm just not sure how he's not completely distracted by the current activities, by the here and now, the stuff that's going on. And one last point I want to make before I get your reaction. Brian's already got his national championship ring. So he's got a national championship. He's a national championship winning coach at Ohio State. They've got the stuff, so nothing he's going to do this year at Ohio State is really going to help him down at USF. You know what I'm saying? He's already got
Yeah.
the job. He's already got the thing. But stuff he does right now for him can help him at USF, can help him in the future if he keeps his roster together, if he gets staff, if he hires guys. You know what I'm saying? So where's his focus? Where's his real primary urgent focus going to be? I think it's at USF. I don't see how, and there's any way that he's going to be, urgently thinking about Ohio State when he's got a four-alarm fire going down at USF right now that he's got to deal with, and that's his future, and that's how he's going to be evaluated. And therein lies the dilemma.
Yeah, it's definitely a dilemma. And it's funny because backstage before going on, talking to Nevada, he mentioned the bowl game. I was like, oh yeah, they got a bowl game they're about to play, and so it's just listen, it's a distraction. Like there's no question about it. The ultimate question, the bigger question is how will Ryan Day and Ohio State handle this distraction? Brian Hartline is a young prince. He's an Ohio State Buckeye prince. He's beloved, by everyone. He's done great things here. He's our guy. And so I don't know if he would get this much grace and space to move like this if he wasn't who he was. So I think Ryan is trying to just, look out for him and walk the tightrope as much as possible without, squandering what's ahead of him. And so I don't know. Maybe Ryan Day trusts himself to be able to compensate for the potential or most definite, probably most likely, distraction and lack of all in because of the fact that you're down there trying to get your team together. So this is going to be a challenge. Now I'm wondering, Ryan Day, is he going to? My question for you, Nevada, is what is he going to do to compensate for this? The easy thing is say, oh, well, he'll just be more involved in the play calling. Well, maybe, but does he bring someone else in who can just strictly help with game planning to just kind of compensate for him being gone? Because he's going to be down there for a week, right? One full week.
I'm not sure. That's what the implication was, that he was going to be down there for an extended period of time, but he was going to be, working remotely with Ohio State and doing the other things. Now, Ryan Day is in Vegas right now. Now, you say, well, wow, that's exciting. Right? Ryan Day is it's for I think it's the College Football Hall of Fame
Yeah.
induction thing for
Yeah.
Urban Meyer. But don't think he's not meeting with Chip Kelly when he's in Vegas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a 0% chance that he's not meeting with Chip Kelly when he's there in Vegas. You already made the trip. Chip's out there, and so I think they'll be talking about an analyst role, a consulting role, or a more serious role for Chip. I just because Chip and Ryan are so, you have to understand, those are really good friends,
Yeah.
and Chip is, seriously unemployed right now. He does not have another job. He's got time, and Ohio State, is going into the most critical, 6 weeks of, the entire 2025 season. So I think that, those guys will talk about how they can help. And based upon how those conversations go and how interested Chip might be in terms of getting involved, I think that'll give us kind of a direction in terms of what kind of outside help. Because I think Chip, frankly, is one of the few people that could come in and help Ryan right away
Yeah.
because he's so familiar with the roster. He's so familiar. He's so familiar with the terminology. He's familiar with the players. He's familiar with the other coaches. He understands the system. He understands everything about what's going on with Ohio State. There might have been some tweaks since he left, but not a lot.
Yeah.
And I think anybody else from the outside would really have a hard time kind of getting it because they're just, there's not as up to speed. Whereas I think Chip would be completely plug and play. And even if he's not interested in a long term full time role or coming back to Ohio State, he may just go, look, I'm over being at Ohio State. I did been there, done that. I don't want to go back. There's nothing to say that he couldn't help in the short term, because you're talking about one of the great. He's on the Mount Rushmore of great offensive minds in college football history, in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
Chip Kelly's his whole the contributions to speed football. I thought that was as big a leap forward, as like the spread offense or the bear defense or some of the other, great innovations that we've had in recent years. I think speed football was a big one, and that was a Chip Kelly joint. So I think that that's a conversation that's got to have. But I think we'll know a lot more after they are together this tonight in Las Vegas. I think we'll have a much better idea about Chip. Will Chip Kelly help out in the interim with Ohio State to kind of get us over this hump because we need the help. Your offensive coordinator, there's just no way he can do this job right now. He just can't. So Ryan needs the help. I think Ryan realizes that he does need the help, and I think it'll be very interesting to see how it goes when him and Chip Kelly get together and have these conversations. See what kind of fruit is born out of that.
Yep. I mean, I think this is definitely the chip in the letter rip tater chip that you like to say. This is the chip we need to let her rip. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist it. It was just in my head. But but no, yeah. So a couple things from the chat. First of all, try fanatics.com for this hoodie. People are asking for this hoodie. It's pretty sweet. I love it. Mitchell and Ness. Try fanatics.com or just, I don't know, Google Mitchell and Ness Buckeye hoodie. It might come up. So there's the answer to the couple people
Now,
asking.
hold on, just before we go on that, we have a Fanatics link on
We
our site. If
do.
you go to buckeyescoop.com, on the left hand side it says Scoop Fanatics Store. Just click on that. The reason you do that, anything you buy through that helps out Scoop. So like you can get it's the entire Fanatic store. If you're buying any stuff for Christmas, any of that stuff you're doing, buy it through our link. Helps out Scoop. You can get all your stuff. It's got all the great prices. Any team, any sport, anything that you want to buy, including that great hoodie right there. Get it to that Scoop Fanatics link. Just wanted to make that public service announcement.
No, that's great. Thank you for that reminder because that did slip my mind. Yes, that's a great way to do that. Fanatics, I'm addicted to Fanatics. But yeah, that's your answer for that. Also, real quick, I see people in the chat asking, why are we still talking about Brian Hartline when he's, because he's still he plans on coaching for the rest of the playoffs. Like, what do you mean? Like this is a current. This is not like this is the coach who's gone and they're just gone, and we're just still talking about him just because. No, he has one foot out the door and one foot in the door, and so it's
I mean,
a.
he's the OC, right? Am I missing something? He's the
The last
offensive.
time I checked, he's the offensive coordinator for the
He's the offensive.
Buckeyes.
Yeah, he's going to go up to that little
Like,
booth
come
up
on,
there, and he's going to get his nachos and put his little helmet set on and get his Fresca and sit there, and he's going to call the plays. That seems like a pretty important position to me. I mean, it's not like we're talking about Jim Knowles or Jim
right?
Haycock or Tom Herman or something like that. Like he is the current offensive coordinator, coming off one of the worst offensive performances that I've ever seen at Ohio State, certainly in the red zone. And that's been a huge problem all year, has been these stupid 14 personnel, meaning four tight ends on the field at one time. I said this last time, we had a four tight end set that we played without Max Clare. We had four other tight ends other
Yeah.
than Max Clare on the field at one time. And we had a great threat on the board today, laying it all out. You should see the boxes that we're trying to run into, B. I don't know if you to BB coach, great analyst on our side, laid out everything turned it. They had 10 guys in the box. 10 guys. And you wonder why we're not getting push. You wonder why we're not able to run effectively. They had 10 guys in the box.
Yeah, I got
You
to
can't
catch up
run.
with that thread.
You,
That's
you
insane.
you can't run on that. You just can't. It's impossible to run on that. It's impossible.
Yeah, I don't care if you're Walter Payton, Barry Sanders. Yeah, that's crazy. I got to catch up with that thread. But yeah, I just wanted to call that out from the chat because I'm just looking like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? I don't be, there's people who just make comments and who troll or just say stuff, and I ignore a large amount of it but this is some stuff. It's just like, huh? Are you serious right now? I don't understand some of these comments. They're just weird, Nevada. But anyway, so yeah, so the Heartline situation is a dilemma, and I see y'all in the chat as well. We want Brian Hartline to do well. He's going to be a part of Ryan Day's coaching tree. Listen, I get it. Again, we emphasized this last night. We're not like, oh, we hate Brian Hartline and get out of here. You suck. We hate you. No, it's not like that. It's, hey, we got a real opportunity to make history, to repeat as national champions. Coming off that game, it was not great. Play calling in the red zone specifically. He's the OC. His attention is pulled away to another program. It's not ideal is a charitable way of describing it. So I'm just trying to lay this out for the people so y'all can understand why we're talking about this and why we're bringing stuff out like, oh, they got a bowl game. Like, it's just other things people aren't really understanding when it comes to this situation with Heartline. And it's a hump that we got to get over. And to your point, Nevada, I hope he brings in Chip. And another address to the chat, this comment that Nevada made about going out to Vegas and hollering at Chip is not saying he's going to bring him in over Dayball. This is for a temporary, like, help me come finish this season while Heartline is down in South Florida, doing what he does, right, Nevada? That wasn't you saying hire him for the next 2-3 years.
So first of all, I would. If I
Right.
could kidnap Chip Kelly, throw him on the plane, and bring him back there to Columbus, I would absolutely, and I would cry tears. I don't know if that's in the cards or not, but I
Yeah.
think short of that, I think Chip can be a great resource in the short term, in the medium term, and maybe in the long term. I don't know. There seems to be a lot of people that seem to think that Chip's not interested in coming back. I haven't heard that from him, but I'm checking to find out if that's true or not. But look, it's all hands on deck right now. We're the betting favorite to win the national championship, and our offensive coordinator is now the head coach of a team that is practicing and playing in a bowl game in a week down in Orlando. To me, that's a story. That's a story. That's a very unique type of situation. I think that people talk about, hey, Tom Herman did this, and it was fine with Tom Herman didn't have to deal with the transfer portal. Tom Herman didn't have to deal with
True.
instantaneous free agency. Tom Herman didn't have to deal with a 12-team playoff. The playoff then was 4 teams, two
Yeah.
games. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a 6 week, three. We have to go through 3 games only because we got to buy. It's 4 games for other people. I mean, it's a completely different animal than when Tom Herman was dealing with this. So
Yeah.
like for right now, we've got to figure out this situation because I think that Ryan Day is kind of caught. You want to do right by the players. The play at the end of the day, it's a players game, and you want to do right by the players. But man, you've got to handle this really carefully because Brian's not able to pay as much attention. And I think for Ryan, the question's got to be going through his mind: does he become the offensive coordinator? Does he step into that role right now and start calling the plays? And some people think that he was calling the plays last weekend. I'm here to tell you that that is not what I've heard. I do not believe that Ryan Day was calling the play. I think that Ryan Day, as always, as the next offensive coordinator, has been heavily involved in terms of the game planning and giving direction on the when they're talking about things on the headset and stuff like that. But Brian Hartline's still a play caller. He's still the. I mean, let's put it this way: if he wasn't calling the plays, Brian Hartline would not be still here, because Brian Hartline
That's a
would be
good
like,
point.
I mean, Ryan, if you don't need me to call the plays, why am I here?
Great
I've
point.
got I've got this other job down in South Florida. So it's not, it's nonsensical to believe that they're just having him up there as a figurehead sitting up in the box when he's got he's betting his entire future that he's going to do well in the South Florida job. And what happens in the next month or 6 weeks is going to really determine the trajectory, because can he keep his roster together? Can he keep his roster from being wholesale poached by other schools? Because everybody in the country is all over his kids right now. And can he keep it together? Because that's going to affect how successful he's going to be. I mean, South Florida was 9-3 this year, had a really nice season. They're going to be looking for Brian to kind of improve on that. They've got a new stadium, going to a new on-campus stadium that's opening up in 2 years. So there's a lot riding on this with Brian Hartline. And so I think there's no way he'd be sitting there going, "Hey, you've taken over the play calling responsibility. You took it away. You took the play sheet away from my hands. Hey, I'll still stick with you for the next 6 weeks," when he's got a five-alarm fire down in Tampa that he's got to be dealing with. No way that would happen.
That is a great point, Nevada. And this is why you are wise, sir. That's a great perspective. It's just logical. It's just funny, Nevada, because it seems like a lot of people on these internets want to always make Ryan Day the play caller. If something goes wrong, oh, Ryan Day must be calling the plays this game. Blip, 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 blip. Like that's like the mantra of people. It's just always what they do. He was calling the plays. He was calling the plays. Yeah. There's no. It's just silly. And to your point, why keep him around if he's just going to be there in the booth just to look goofy while Ryan Day is calling the plays with no play sheet in his hand on the sideline, by the way? Yes, he's involved. Yes, he's on the headset. Of course, he's weighing in. Of course, they're talking about what they game plan the whole week and what plays were working in this situation. Of course. But Hartline is up there calling plays. So it's just silly. I agree. We got some super chats. What you got something to say about that?
Well, no, I think for Brian, I think Brian's kind of got a really unique situation, going on right now. And I think that, he's got to own the fact that he's the one, along with Bailey, that have kind of led Ryan Day to this red zone commitment that they've kind of made to the tight end room. And I think they've got to figure their way out of there. And I think for Brian, it's really one of his great coaching opportunities right now I've always said, like, the smartest people that I've ever been around. And my brother was a legitimate genius when it came to this. Legitimate genius. Was part of the computer group, one of the early pioneers in terms of sports gambling. Um, just an incredible mind for analytics and things. But he would always say, the smartest thing he would always say is, like, I always reserve the right to change my mind. And I just thought that was like the smartest thing that I've ever heard. And I think for Ryan Day, he's got this thing where he's got to change his mind and his perspective on the way that he's attacking in the red zone and in short yardage. And I think Brian Hartline's he's got to help him all on this journey. And Brian's got to do it as well. I mean, Brian's a young guy, but they've got to come to this realization that what they're doing. I think that if they don't change what we're doing in the red zone, and I'm not saying we're going to lose because of that, but I think our odds to I think that if you want to look at one thing going forward into the playoff, you're saying, what's the one thing I want to look for in the playoff? What is Ohio State doing in the playoff? Watch that. If in short yardage we roll out 3 and 4 tight ends again, I would not be as optimistic that we've learned the lessons, that those people that ignore history are doomed to repeat it. I would really be concerned at. Now, on the other hand, if we don't do that, I think that'd be an incredibly positive sign for us. So,
Yeah.
you talked about the things that you're looking for when you're watching the games, and you're watching the battles, or who lines up at right guard, or does Julian saying stick with his receivers longer, or how's our pass rush? I'm going to be looking for that. Like when it comes down to that first time we have a 4th and 1, or we get down the red zone, are we going to try to play football in the phone booth, or are we going to spread it out and try to? I mean, you think about the one touchdown that we've had in the red zone in the last 2 weeks. It wasn't in that. It was, we had Carnell and JJ on the field, and we threw it
Yeah.
to Carnell. That was
Yep.
the one time we scored. And then you think about these other times where we're throwing the ball to freaking Bennett, the biggest play of the season, and we're throwing it to Bennett Christian. That's who we're throwing the ball to. And we have JJ. I mean, like, it makes absolutely no sense to me in terms of how we're attacking, what we're attacking. And I really hope that Brian Hartline comes to that realization and slash or Ryan Day, and they changed. But I guarantee you, that's gonna be must see TV for me, is watching that when that happens. And I'll be down there at the Cotton Bowl watching the game in person. Maybe B Moses will be right there next to me watching the game with me. Maybe.
We'll see if I can get
Dare to dream.
a private jet down there. I can, might
Hey,
be able
look,
to do
if
it.
anybody who's got a private plane that's flying down there, B Moses will jump on the plane, go down there. He's got a ticket. He's got a ticket. Call it.
Angel investors out there hit me up. Oh man, it's funny you mentioned Bennett Christian, because that's a great segue. We got the super chat stacking. Calm Souls, thanks for the 199. Why is Bennett Christian the fourth tight end at all during championship game? Yeah. So listen, let me clear this up. We don't think Bennett Christian is trash. Like, he's a good blocker, he's a good kid, but Max Clare is the best tight end, overall tight end on this team, especially as a threat to, catch the ball and actually score points. So it's not that Christian Bennett is trash, or Bennett Christian is trash. I can always call him Christian Bennett. Like, remember Anderson Russell? Remember Terrell Pryor called him Russell Anderson in an interview? Like, he's got those two names. It's just hard that you mix them up all the time. But anyway, it's not that we think he sucks, but it's a good question, because why isn't Claire out there? Like, he's the threat. He's the guy I'm going to throw it to over any of the tight ends, right, Nevada?
Well, yeah, and it just shows you kind of the absurdity. And I understand the argument as well. Maybe Max is not as good a blocker as these guys are, but like, really, I mean, if it's just about blocking, then why don't we just bring extra offensive linemen in there? You know what I'm saying? Let's bring Josh Padilla, and let's bring, literally, if you're going to run into 10-man fronts, right? And that's what we're running into. Why don't you put 9 offensive linemen out there? And just bring Gabe Van Sickle and Josh Padilla and Integra, and what I'm saying, just all line them all up there and just run into it, because that's a lot better than doing it with tight ends, right?
Yeah, I agree. The concept, and I know the other pushback is, the tight end can be the blocker, but he can also leak out on play action. We get that, but it just hasn't been as effective. And to your point, before we go into more super chats about Ryan Day, the good thing is we've seen him change his mind. We've seen him adjust. Sometimes it takes some time, because, like you said, he could be stubborn. But we got 3 weeks to self-scout, self-analyze, self-scrutinize, holler at the Chip Kellys, all that stuff to say, okay, guys, let's stop playing around here and do what we need to do, which is lean into our best players. Tate, JJ Smith, Claire, all that. And that's not to say we can't ever go 13 personnel in certain situations, but not as much as we have, especially not in the red zone. But anyway.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, remember the Michigan. I understand this is a little different and stuff like that, but big play in the Michigan game, we line up JJ and Carnell and Max Clare and Brandon Innes, right?
Yeah.
And what happened? Max, they ran those twin slants. They rubbed that guy off the thing right there, and Innes was wide open for the freaking touchdown. Easy touchdown. Like, come on. Like, just spread them out. Spread the other team out. You can run Carnell, JJ, Innes, and Claire out there on the field right now with 5 offensive linemen, a quarterback and shotgun, and an offset back. And so you can still run. You can run out of that. You can pass out of that. You can do anything out of that. But that's way more threatening than 4 freaking tight ends. Like, what? 4 tight ends? I just don't even understand. Like, how many touchdown passes have we thrown out of that this year? 1?
Yeah, not
like
many.
That one. Remember, we won the on the 4th and 1 where we threw the one and we threw it to CJ Donaldson kind of in the flat, and he had Jelani Thurman open the back, or maybe there's another one, but it hasn't been many. And how many times have we been stopped, B?
A lot.
So
yeah, I mean, we're gonna see. We're all gonna wait wait and see this if what Ryan Day, what he's
Yeah, and,
thinking.
yeah, and I want to say one more thing. Yeah, and we're not dogging on Bennett Christian. We're just using him as an example. We love
Exactly.
the kid. We're not. This is not poor Bennett Christian, man. I think they're putting him in a terrible spot, and I feel bad that we're even. We're not dogging the kid. Just want to be real crystal clear on that. But anyway, B, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. And that's why I started my little spiel with that, like to put that out there. Like, I like Bennett Christian a lot. I think he's really good at what he does. But, Claire has a different skill set. It's just that y'all understand. We're not dogging a kid. Will the Thrill, thanks for the 9.99. If Day really does the 13-14 personnel to throw a bone to his boy, that's a bad look. Why sacrifice the team for something that never works? Because he's your buddy? Love our coach, but that's cringy. Nevada?
I mean, yeah, obviously that's the least charitable reading on the situation. I mean, obviously, I mean, the facts are him and Bailey are close. The facts are that Bailey's the offensive coordinator. The facts are that we are running a tight end set with Bailey's guys, with Bailey's room, that doesn't make any sense to anyone who's ever watched football. So I'm just connecting the dots in terms of, the whole thing about why is Ryan Day doing it? Well, obviously he's doing it because he feels like he's got a good tight end room. He wants to keep them engaged, and he feels like they've practiced, they can do it. But it's just not working. It hasn't worked all year. We've got a
Yeah.
large enough sample size on them. We've got 13 games to realize that this is not working, and they've got to change it. Um, do I think that Ryan Day's doing it to the detriment of the team? Like, of course not. Ryan Day wants to win worse than anything in the entire world.
Yeah.
But but even guys that are smart, even guys that are brilliant, even guys that are great can have blind spots. And I think this is a blind spot. I think he's been so pot committed to this that that it's blinded him to the fact that it's a formation that I don't think can work effectively. And effectively meaning you should be converting short yardage 80-90% of the time. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
short yardage. That's the whole reason it's called short yardage. Think about like the Bush push tush for the brotherly shove for
Yeah.
Philadelphia. They don't do it 100% of the time, but they convert it a lot of the time. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of the time. That's how short yardage should be for Ohio State. And this formation ain't working. I think we're working at about 10% or maybe 20%. That isn't good enough. Got to change.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Ryan Day, I think he understands this. Ryan Day, one thing I know about him, he hates poor third down efficiency. Like just watching him in interviews and he hates it. And I could tell he was upset looking at the third downs. He said it. And so I think that in itself will help pull him away from that, in my opinion. So we'll see. We'll see. But again, that loss could be a blessing in disguise. Karis, what up? Thanks for being a Scoop Ultra member. Thanks for the 4.99. It is time for Heartline to go. We need stability and consistency right now. So here's the thing. Look, Ryan Day, he's in charge. He's making the decisions, obviously. If he's going to keep Brian Hartline around, then it's going to be up to him to make sure everything is consistent and stable. And so if that's bringing in Chip to help compensate, if that's him taking over more, which he implied that in his pressers, that he would, be a little more hands-on with the game planning and stuff like that. So I'm sure he has a plan. Okay. We're just saying, dang, bro, this don't look good. This is not a good look. This is a hurdle. It's a distraction. It's a challenge that shouldn't be, but it is what it is. We can't control it. We can't twist Ryan Day's arm and make him say, go away, Brian. And listen, I'm not even saying like, it's not that I just want Brian to go away. I just want the distraction to go away. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trusting Ryan Day to do what's necessary to not allow this to thwart what our goal is, which is to make history and go back to back, Nevada.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those situations where it's about optics, but it's also about reality. It's not just about the appearance. It's about the reality of the situation is you're asking a guy to work 200-hour-a-week jobs at the same time and not expect either one of them to suffer. And I think that's just crazy talk. I don't see how any human being could do it. And I think that he's putting Brian Hartline in a really difficult situation. He's also setting himself up for a gigantic "I told you so" if this doesn't work out, because This is a very questionable decision about the Heartline OC thing. And after that offensive performance in the Big Ten championship game, I mean, think about it this way: say Matt Patricia had come out and said, "I'm interviewing for the Penn State job. I'm interviewing for the Penn State job, thinking about it, or interview for the New York Giants job, and doing this, and he's flying all over the country doing this and that." And then the defense comes out on the Big Ten championship game and lays an egg. Would that be fair game to criticize him? I think
Yeah.
it would. I
Yeah.
think it would. So why would Brian Hartline? Why is he any different? He took the job down South Florida. That's great, Brian. Go with God. But you do that, and then we lay an egg. If I told you before the game, B, that Indiana was going to score 13 points in the Big Ten championship game, and I know you're not a bettor, I know you're not a gambling man or whatever it is, but how much money would you have bet that Ohio State won the Big Ten championship game?
At least a stack.
Yeah, yeah,
$1,000.
yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, like,
mean,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, like, right? So
yeah.
it was bad. I mean, that was just a bad performance all the way around. And I think they're putting Brian and Ryan in a situation where they're. I think I think it's an unforced error. I don't think they need to do this. I think that there's a better path forward, that the probably a more logical path for it. But I hope it works out. I hope the offense comes out down in Texas with you sitting right next to me at the game there, B, after you got off the private plane, came to the game, and they put up 50 points, and we're just like high-fiving the whole game because Brian Hartline is in his bag. That I'm rooting for that. There's nothing that
Yeah.
would make me happier than that. I hope that's what we get.
Me too. And listen, I think they're both putting themselves in this situation. Brian Hartline wants to stay and win another title. Listen, just to be fair, he loves Ohio State. He loves these players he recruited. He loves Buckeye Nation. I don't doubt that for a second. It's just he's in conflict because of the situation. And so I think him and Ryan are trying to work this out, and it's dicey. So with that said, next super chat, Will the Thrill. Thanks for the $4.99. Brian should do the unselfish thing and step down. Then again, if Day wants to be Saban, he can't let this continue. What would Nick do? So, as I said before, I think there's grace being given and benefit of the doubt being given because of who it is. If this was just some OC he hired from just another program or for the NFL, then I think it will maybe be a different story. And maybe after this situation, he won't let it happen again. But it's Brian Hartline. He's our young prince. He's our young Buckeye prince. So I think that's the difference. Nevada, I don't know how you feel about that, but that's my take on it.
Well, I mean, we already know what Saban would do. Saban had this situation. It was called Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin there.
Yeah.
And what Saban did is he said, "Thanks, Lane." Lane wanted to stay. And Saban said, "See you on down the road. Hey, Sark." Sark was just getting so sorry. I'm not sure Sark was sober at this time, but he was getting there. He's like, "Hey, Sark, you're now the play caller." I mean, that's what Saban did. So
Yeah.
Saban's a savage. We know what Saban would do. I agree. I think the Brian Hartline situation is a little different. There's player considerations. There's Ohio State ties consideration. There's that whole family environment thing that Ryan preaches. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a practice what you preach. Brian, tough love, monkey love conquers all the different loves. He loves Brian Hartline, and I think he wants to do right by him. I just want to make sure he's doing right by Ohio State at the same time.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. So again, we're processing this openly of what we're thinking and the concerns, but we're rooting for them boys to figure it out. And especially Ryan Day. And I do trust Ryan Day. If anybody can do it, it's him. So we shall see. Duda, man, what's up? What's up, man? Thanks for the 10. Congrats to Indiana. They just poked the bear. OH Nevada. Yeah, it's funny, man. Indiana fans. First of all, they were extremely obnoxious before the game. And you would think for a fan base who's won nothing our entire lives, they would be a little more humble, but they're not. They're the opposite. Then the other thing is, it's funny. They're trying to project on us misery and pain after the loss. We don't have that. We're good. Like, we're good. And so, yeah, when Buckeye Nation loses, we want to know why. 24 to 48 hours, we dig into, okay, why did we lose? Why did we do these stupid things? What can we do to not do it next time? That happened like normal. But other than that, it's on to the playoffs, man. We're not tripping off the Big Ten title game. Did we want to win? Of course, we want to win everything. Everything we step on the field to do, we want to win. However, the highest goal can still be obtained. That's the natty. I just said this yesterday. We tasted that glory. We want to taste that again. Big Ten title's cool, but national title is better. We can learn from this game and really do some things going into this playoff run, Nevada. So, Indiana fans, y'all way goofier than I thought y'all would be, man. Good luck in the tournament.
Yeah, well, B, I got a question. There's a little quiz for B Moses. Okay, B, had we won the game on Saturday, how many more games do we need to win the national championship?
3.
Okay, after we lost the game on Saturday night, how many more games do we need to win the national championship?
Carry the 3. 4, 6,
You're
3.
like, I didn't. There's not supposed to be any math. You told
right,
me.
You told me there was going to be no math.
I mean, like, yeah, I got to say, this is because of the circumstances, because of just this whole crazy 12-team playoff and everything. This is the least bothered that I've ever been in my entire life by a loss. The
Absolutely.
least. And it's since I was a little kid, man. Since I was a little kid, when Ohio State lost, man, I would like go to bed. I would cry. I would, you know what I'm saying? You know, when I'm older, I just go to bed and I cry. I'm just like, it makes me sad when Ohio State loses. This one, it was like, man, okay, it sucked. Indiana fans are obnoxious and everything like that. But I really think this helps us. I really think, really, that is not copium. That is not nothing. That's the truth. I truly believe this will help us. I don't know whether we're going to win the national championship this year. I know we're the betting favorite to do, but you need some luck. You need some help. There's just a lot of stuff that's got to go on that. I absolutely, positively believe this increased our chances to win the national championship losing that game, because that was the only thing that was going to cause us to make some of the necessary changes. But I think they'll get made. But yeah, I'm not bothered at all. And I'm glad you passed the math test there, B. I'm proud of you, buddy. You know what I'm saying? I really thought you were going to blow that. I really thought, I'm like, B's going to blow that. I know he's going to blow this, but you didn't. You clutched up, man. I'm impressed.
It was tough, man. I had to dig deep in my bag. And but I came out unscathed. Real quick, I want to read this comment. This is from an Indiana fan on my Buckeye football Facebook page. He said, "What good is a natty if you are second best? IU just proved that they are the best team in college football, and even if Ohio wins a natty, it is not because they are the best team. Crazy how a losing fan base just dismisses the fact that they got beat." And so it's just I responded.
That's copium right there, man. That guy is heavy copium, bro.
Listen, and the response was so obvious. Like I cooked him with a simple response, like, "You're an idiot." Like I basically I cut his pancakes up for him and fed them to him. Like, "Here you go. Like, let me make this simple and plain for you. Natty over everything. Okay, you're an idiot." But that's Indiana fans. It's just been dumb. And listen, I've congratulated them. We said they earned it. Good win, all of that. Like, but they still, it's like they want us to pull them to the side and say, "Okay, welcome behind the velvet rope. You're a blue blood now. Welcome. We're equals." No, we're not going to do that, because that's just not the case. Good luck in the tournament, fellas. You still got to go through the playoffs like we did last year. Okay. Just pump the brakes, Indiana. You're a good team. You earned it. Sig is a great coach, but chill, dog. That's all we saying.
B, I just, and again, you're my brother. You're my partner. I love you. But I'm rooting against Indiana in the playoffs. I am not rooting them good. Like, I'm rooting against them. I am. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not considering them pose like, "Oh yeah, that's great. Oh yeah, no." I'm rooting against them. I don't care. I'll root for Oregon. I'll root for anybody else over IU. I really will. That's where I'm at.
I agree. Thumbs down.
Thumbs
off
down.
with their heads. All of that.
Down,
I
man.
mean, I could care. I could care less what they do. Like, I don't care about the SEC, Big Ten. They get smoked by Oklahoma or Alabama. Yeah. So be it.
Roll Tide.
You know what I mean? Just you earned it. You earned it. So anyway, all right, here we go. Here we go. Bernie, Bernie Lapointe. Thanks for the 10. Any word or continuing investigation on the Stallions, Blake Corum LLC, or Matt White scandal involving breaking into team clouds? It's funny you brought this up. Looks like Corum lost a bet to a Buckeye on his team. Thought that was good to see him in a Buckeye shirt looking goofy. But I know Justin Spiro, man. Justin Spiro with the Corum LLC is that whole thing is that is a great question. Like, will that ever leak out? We know it's a bunch of crap, Nevada. We know it's BS. But Spiro has basically said he needs to go ahead from his people that he gets the info from to release it. And there might be ways for that to happen, but it's there, but there's some barriers. Nevada, what you got on this?
Yeah, I mean, again, we always pride ourselves on being honest on this show. Once the NCAA thing came down, where the Committee on Infractions, you know, didn't follow through with the prescribed thing, I just lost all faith in the NCAA as an enforcement arm. I just have, I feel like putting any faith in them to follow. Both of these cases are a little bit more. I mean, the one that they had was right in front of them. It was a repeat offender,
Yes.
aggravated failure to monitor case with a prescribed formula for punishment, like
Yeah.
laid out all right there, and they didn't follow it. So why would I believe that they would follow through with something that's a little more, like I said, esoteric, a little, a little more obscure, a little muddier. I absolutely believe that the Weiss scandal involved breaking into clouds. I absolutely the Stallions Quorum thing that's done, that's on the record. But do I think the NCAA was going to do anything? I don't. I'm not considering lying to you. Oh yeah, I really think they. I completely lost faith, and I did. I was a believer. I believed one more time that the NCAA was not going to be impotent and that they wouldn't allow the stuff to happen, but they did. So they're not gonna drag me back into that. But I think both those things are out. Look, the Michigan program is the cheatingest program. They cut the comms. They absolutely did that. That's an ongoing investigation right now. You heard the Penn State AD. The Penn State AD in an unguarded moment came out and
Yeah.
said they are the biggest cheater. That's the cheaters. I mean, that's from the agent, from the athletic director at Penn State saying that
Right.
about Michigan. That's who they are. So yeah, they cheat and they cheat and they lie and they obscure and they cheat. But I think anything's going to come of it? I don't. I really think that ship has sailed, and the NCAA bungled it. Just my opinion.
Yeah. Makes sense after that debacle. Um, Rocky Mountain Living, thanks for the 9.99. I don't trust Ryan to not run 14 personnel again. He hasn't seen it, didn't work all year and ran it against Indiana. It took players calling him out. Media need to call him out. He lost that game. Nevada, what you got on this one?
I mean, that's I'm not going to sit here and say that the poster's wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here to take the poster. Ryan is a stubborn dude, and what we found is that sometimes even when it's obvious, if people are asking him to change, he'll dig in harder because that's just part of his thing. And it took a crazy players meeting last year to kind of shake him out of what he was doing. I really, really hope that he's. I really hope that maybe a Chip Kelly, maybe a Brian Dable, maybe somebody, a voice from the outside, can point out to him and he can see what's on. And he doesn't have to just like immediately discard the 14 personnel because that would be like an admission that he screwed up. But how about less of it?
Yeah,
How about not
listen.
going to it immediately? Just lessen it there, bro. I think that way you can save face, you can still do your thing, but we get less of it. And give me more Max Clare, Brandon Ennis, Carnell Tate, and JJ Smith around the goal line, and less Bennett Christian, Nate Roberts, Jelani Thurman, and whoever else you want to put out there. For the fullback, get Nate Roberts, put Kazmarek in at fullback. Kazmarek is a bad man.
Yes,
Kazmarek
he
is
is.
he's an assassin out there in the field. I feel sorry for Nate. He's just too tall. He gets those guys get underneath him and they just light him up. I mean, that kid has gotten lit up more. And again, not repping on him. He's just not built out to be a fullback. Not everybody's built out to be a fullback.
Yeah.
That takes a very specific skill set. I think he's too tall.
Yeah, no, good point. Kazmarek would be great. That dude is just a brute out there. All right. Thomas Ridley, thanks for the 5. We learned nothing from last year. Half ASS coaching in a major game, another meeting, another book, same score, same call, same bad actors. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not going to go that far. I don't think this game was equal to Michigan, in my opinion. Maybe some similarities, some similar frustrations, but I don't think it was equal to that game. I don't think it's that deep to where it's the same situation and a players meeting or anything like that. I don't buy into that. But they need to make some changes. Period. And they got 3 weeks to do it. And I think that performance, the lack thereof, and I think if anything can do it, it's that. And so that's just my simple response, Nevada.
Yeah, I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to be optimistic that this is new Ryan, and that Ryan. We've seen it. I mean, he was different in the Michigan game. It's not like we
Yeah,
haven't seen him be different.
right.
He was different in the
Exactly.
Michigan game, and I'm just going to write this off as an aberration, kind of a distraction. Um, we had to learn from it, so I'm going to be optimistic about that until I don't have reason to be optimistic, but I really do think this is a new Ryan Day, even if we took a little bit of a step back. And it wasn't much, man. I'm telling you what, if we were just a little more efficient in the red zone, we win that game by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Exactly.
That
Even
game
with that
that
game plan. Even with
even
that
with that
game
game,
plan.
even with the exact same game plan, even with Julian Sain did not have a great game, and I'm the biggest Julian Sain stan in the world. He did not have a great game. That's okay. Sometimes that stuff happens. Our offensive line did not have a great game. That's okay. Sometimes that happens. We still should have won the game by 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
But I have faith in Day. I think he's a new guy. I just think he had a bad night, and everybody has a bad night now and then.
Yep. I agree. All right. Geo Dit, what's up, man? Thanks for the 5. Chip Kelly is under consideration for the Kentucky and Washington State jobs I've read. I guess we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. It's a lot going on behind the scenes, man. We'll definitely. Does Chip Kelly? What does he want to do? Like, does he want to? Is he itching to get back to the NFL? Is it better to slide back to Ohio State for 3 months and then wait for other jobs to come open later in the NFL? I don't know. What you think, Nevada, on this one?
Well, I mean, the Kentucky job got filled by Will Stein a week ago, so
Oh, so there you go.
I don't think he's under consideration for the Kentucky job. The Washington State job, I think that this would be like the weirdest career path of all time. Like, you leave the UCLA head coaching job to become the Ohio State offensive coordinator, go to the Raiders, for a big 3-year, $18 million deal, and then go to Washington State.
Yeah,
I
that's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That
I
doesn't seem
mean,
like a great trajectory.
that doesn't make any sense. Like, if you told me that Brian Hartline was taking the Washington State job, I'd be like, you can do better than that, Brian. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Chip Kelly, I don't see now. You never say never in life, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I agree. All right. Let me see what we got here. Mike Green, what's up, man? Thanks for the 499. Man, I don't know if I was watching an Indiana love story documentary on Netflix or As the World Turns, the no good husband loses wife to the misfit pool guy. You can always rely on Mike for some funny super chats, man. You got any response to that, Nevada?
Yeah, no, that's some great. Yeah, the great Mike Green. That's legit funny, man. The misfit pool guy. Yeah,
And
no, that's kind of the way it is, man. That kind of nails it.
and you know what? Let's follow up with another Mike Green. Thanks for the 499. Oh yeah, Unc, you said you was claiming purple. Well, that's an OG Crip from 1930s. You might want to say, I denounce my throne and my Prince of King, P. Moses. I denounce my throne. I'm no longer the Prince of Zamunda. That was one of my. I used to say that as a younger lad. I used to just burst out and just say that randomly. If y'all have not seen Coming to America, go see it. Also, sometime this week, Nevada's going to give his Last Dragon review. He watched it.
I watched it.
He watched The Last Dragon. He's going to give his review. Stay tuned.
You
Sometime
didn't
this
tell me
week.
you didn't tell me it was like a musical. I didn't really quite realize that there was like it was like
I
there were a lot
mean,
of
it, I don't. It's like the 80s. you know, with breaking, and I mean, everything was kind of a musical without being called a musical.
Well,
It's kind of
I wasn't more of a breaking. I was more breaking two electric boogaloo. I was more of
yeah,
the breaking two electric.
Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, I mean, it was in that vein. It was in that vein. So maybe I should have prepared you a little bit more for all the musicality and all the great 80s vibes. Were you feeling
Yeah.
the great 80s vibes?
Oh, it was. I'm still feeling it. I'm still feel like I'm still feeling the vibes, man. I got that was like I said, great story in Vanity. Mwah. Oh, man.
Yeah, Chef's kiss on
Chef.
vanity.
Oh man, that was probably like peak Vanity. That's about
Yeah,
as good as it
peak
gets right
vanity.
there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna go back and watch it again just for kicks and giggles as well, because why not? All right. Jason, thanks for the 20. Given the business nature of OSU, the management of organizational dynamics for coaches is disappointing. Need to focus, otherwise, it will be a bad outcome for these kids. Shame on the system. Hartline needs to go to USF full time. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's you know, we're going to find out what happens, man. We've talked about it. We've shared our concerns. You know, we just got to wait and see, and trust Ryan Day will help navigate this ship through these waters, Nevada. That's all I got, man.
Well, yeah, just I mean, you've got a portal even that's opening up January 3rd or 5th
Yeah,
or something like that. So like you think about it, you've got a portal that's opening up when we're in the playoff. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And you think about the implications of that, like let's just game plan one out just for a second. Just say you take Ryan Williams from Alabama or Chaz Coleman from Auburn or whatever it is, you're doing that in the middle of the playoffs. So like you're sending that message to the rest of your wide receiver room right now. They see that in real time that you're bringing that guy in and you're still playing this year. So it's not
Yeah,
like you're in the off season. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole schedule between early signing day, the portal
yeah,
thing. I'm just everything about it is it's a mess. It's just a mess. And it's just more difficult waters for these guys to navigate. Brian Hartline, he's the head coach of USF. They're in a bowl game, but he's our OC too. And he's still, I mean, just like I there's so much to deal with this, but man, just one day at a time, one step at a time. But Ryan Day has to deal with more stuff than Urban Meyer, Jim Tressel, and Woody Hayes ever to deal with in nine
yes.
lifetimes, man. It's a way tougher job now.
And I'll tell you what, if he wins another natty this year, how can you not goat him? How is he not up there? Like, I'm just saying, I love Urban, I love Tressel, but man, he'll be second to none if he pulls this off with everything going on. That's just real. And so, but anyway, do you think, John? Thanks for the 999. He asks, do you think that Brian realizes that he is hurting the Buckeyes by sticking around for the playoffs? No way he can do both jobs at maximum capacity. He needs to realize that and walk away now. I do not think that. I don't think Brian Hartline feels he's hurting the Buckeyes. I think Brian Hartline is thinking honestly, you know what? I love this team. I love these guys. I love this program. This is my program. I want to help this team achieve their goals. However, I need to go over here and handle this too. So, can we work this out? I think his intentions are good. I do think he loves this program, but his situation is problematic. Like, I don't question his intent. I don't think he's sabotaging and, oh, screw Ohio State. His intentions are good, and so are Ryan Day's, but this is still a challenge, and they got to figure it out. And that's just it. That's my answer to that, Nevada.
Yeah, I think this is one of those situations where I think Brian feels like he's doing us a solid by doing
Yeah.
this, and you know, yeah, I just don't know if it's a solid, and I just think there's more to it. I'm sure Brian's got a lot of confidence in his abilities and his experiences as a play caller. For me, I look at a guy who's only 13 games into his career doing it, so he's inexperienced. He's still learning, how to do it, and now he's distracted. But do I think Brian realizes it? No, I don't. I think Brian probably feels like he's fallen on the sword for Ohio State. He's being Bobby Buckeye by doing this, and
Yeah.
he's expecting everybody to have a parade for him. Going, man, you realize how badly I'm screwing myself with USF? While I'm going to be down here. I'm loyal to the Buckeyes to the end, and he doesn't realize the fan base is going, Brian, dude, leave. So I think there's a real big disconnect between the perception and the reality of what's going on right now. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. I don't disagree. And the only thing that will cure that is a natty. Get the job done. and we will sing your praises. That doesn't mean that it was ever ideal. It's still not ideal, but nothing will overcome this angst and dilemma than a second back-to-back natty. So get her done, fellas. All right. Mr. Apollo, thanks for the 5. Not just in the red zone, but between the 20s. Add some window dressing with the jet sweeps and running back screens. Use a 4th wide receiver. Make the D avert them eyes. I like that. Yeah, there's so much we can do, man. There's so much in the playbook. There's so much we've seen over the years. Yes, the jet sweep, the orbit motions, we can do so much. And so I'm hoping and praying that Ryan Day is doing a full reset to just step back and say, okay, going forward, what is the best thing for our personnel? And so that's my hope. We got a lot in the bag, man. And now we need to see it, Nevada.
Well, like just you play video games, B? Do you play like Madden, or you play any of those games or anything
When
else
I
like that?
can. I don't have as much time. I play College 26 every now and then.
Okay, but like when you're playing the game, do you ever find yourself like calling the same plays over again and stuff like that? I know
Yes.
I do that. I know
Yes.
I do that.
Because it's
So
working.
it's because it's working exactly, and you're like, okay, I just okay, let's run this play, and it's easy to kind of get caught up in that. So it's
Yeah.
hard to remember. Oh yeah, orbit motion. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Oh yeah, jet sweep. Oh yeah, let's go play action and throw to the tight end in the flat. Like it's hard because you got so many things. It's like going to the buffet, and you're hungry, and you go to the buffet and you're like, oh man, those those crab legs look really good over there. Oh man, oh, they got roast beef over here. Oh man, they got
Yeah.
fried chicken over there. Oh, they got rice. So the Chinese stuff looks. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got so much stuff that you just kind of get you get overwhelmed by too many options. And I think that's what happens to inexperienced play callers. I think they can't. They're not looking at all that. That's the difference. That is the one difference between the great ones and the gonna be great ones. Is the great ones see the whole thing, and the not so great ones keep calling the same plays because they're like B. Moses in Nevada, and they keep sticking the same side of the playbook.
Like, let me run this screen again. I keep gashing these boys with this screen.
Exactly.
I was like,
Slipstream,
oh
slipstream.
man.
I know. I call slipstream left, slipstream right like 9 times in a row.
Oh man.
Oh
I feel you.
man.
It's addictive. It's hard not to lean on that play, man. But that's a great example. All right. Joe Ali, 82. Thanks for the 10. You lean towards your strengths. Day knows our defense is elite and has lived on it all year. Now the offense came up short. He will adjust. I'm excited for this playoff. Hashtag buzzsaw. I like that. I agree, man. Listen, we're optimistic. We're parsing through the challenge of what we see with this Heartline situation, but we are optimists for good reasons because we have positive things and recency to refer to be optimistic. So I like this post. I agree with you. We trust Day. Day's going to figure this out, and we're gonna get another natty, Nevada.
Well, I mean, we're going to be favored in every game. We are better, and clearly better than any team in college football right now. So if we lose, it's going to be an upset. So I'm right there with him. I think we're going to win. I think we should win. I think we're going to win. It's 3 games. We had to run 4 games last year. This path is a heck of a lot easier than last year. So no reason to believe we can't do it.
Yep, at all. I mean, listen, I'm excited, man. I'm excited about what we can do once we get rolling. All right, let me see. Here we go, Mr. Apollo. Thanks for the 11.99. Start using tempo. Throw the ball to the alien and the predator. They let IU off the hook, playing slow. Tempo versus either Texas A&M or Miami. They are not deep. They are not like us. They not like us. They not like us. OH Nevada.
Oh,
Yeah, I agree. Again, without being a broken record, it's time to adjust. We got 3 whole weeks. We got nothing but time to just dive in and just maximize everything we have. And so that's just it. Now, I want to add on to this, Nevada. Who would you rather see, A&M or Miami, in our first round matchup?
I'd rather see Miami just because the game's in Dallas. So
Yeah, good point.
Texas A&M, that becomes kind of a pseudo home game for them. So, but I think either one of those teams are flawed. We can handle it. the utilization of tempo, or I should say the non-utilization of tempo, has been one of the great mysteries for me this year because we practice it all the time. When we do it, it's been incredibly effective. I don't know why we don't do it more. I really don't know why we don't do it more. That will always confound me why we don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's partially because we've been slowing the game down this year, and if we're ever going to do it, we're going to do it in the playoffs now,
Yeah,
right?
smart.
Yeah,
Good point.
did right. So didn't Ryan Day say, what was his quote? I think I actually got it up here. If I
When
can
we need
find
to,
it.
we'll step on the gas or something like that.
Yeah, is this the quote right here? Yep, there it
Yeah.
is. When it's time to turn up the gas, we will. And so it's time to turn up the gas, right? So hopefully we see this now. If it's ever going to happen, it's going to happen now. So we will find out very soon. So all right, let me see what we got next. Mike Green again. Thanks for the 199. Who might have ate some humble pie? Question mark. Was the DBs. So Jermaine Matthews got beat a couple times. Okay. I don't think it was egregious. Surratt is a very good receiver. Is a big body receiver. It was a great throw by Mendoza. Tip your cap to Surratt. And then your boy Becker, 50-50 ball. He was right there, stride for stride. He came down with the ball. Now, as a DB, like to me, there's a difference. He got beat, but he didn't get cooked. You know what I'm saying? This is like they're going to drill it. They're going to work on it. Like, okay, let's make sure you come down with this 50-50 ball next time. But to me, Jermaine Matthews is a competitor. I mean, he talks. Him and Iggy, they're both competitors. So Jermaine is going to be in the lab to make sure that he comes down with those balls next time. But yeah, maybe it was some humble pie, but I think it was more so like great plays by the receivers, and Jermaine will bounce back and be sharper. What you think, Nevada?
Yeah, and maybe it causes Jermaine to think about whether he wants to go in the draft or come back for another year, because him coming back for another year in 2026 would be big. So there's always a blessing that you kind of look for in this stuff. And I agree with your sentiment totally. He didn't get cooked. He got beat. Denzel Burke got cooked against Oregon
Yeah,
last year. That was
great example.
that was
That's
good.
a two different things.
Two different things. So one of those things is not like the other. So
Right.
I just we got beat, but we didn't get cooked. Denzel got cooked. So and now Denzel's playing great in the NFL. So
Yep.
sometimes you learn from these things, and Jermaine will be better for it. Yeah, I'm sure that was a little bit humbling for sure.
Exactly. He's a dog. He's a competitor, and OG Watt will get him together. I'm not even worried about it at all. All right, Christopher J. Rich Pisces, thank you for becoming a Scoop Ultra member. Congratulations for doing that, man. It's a great thing, man. So more of you guys, if you want to learn about how to do that, holler at us. But congrats, Christopher, on doing that, man. We appreciate you as well. All right, Mike Green, and it looks like the last super chat here. Thanks for the 199. We could have ran a running back screen of Tegra's side. Man, don't get me started on Tegra, man. Yeah, just like you said, Nevada, easy fix, get Van Sickle in there. I'll take Van Sickle's potential mistakes over Tegra. Tegra's so frustrating because he's capable of playing well. He played well against the team up north. He played well overall in the playoffs last year. But you just never know when he's going to rear his head of just not playing well and just getting plays, single-handedly getting plays blown up. And I saw Nevada, I saw the all 22 because I posted, I recorded with my phone the play where we did the 7-step drop play action that we scored against Michigan with Tate, and we've ran all year. And I showed it like on my phone of Tegra getting beat. I saw the all 22. There were definitely guys open downfield, like open. And it couldn't happen because you had Tegra's guy beat him and sack Sand. So anyway, I'm not going to belabor that point, but yeah, Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. That's you talk about the stories inside the story. See who they start at right guard come playoff
Yeah.
time. Is it going to be Gabe? I think it might be because Gabe played well. Wasn't perfect, missed some plays, was going the wrong way sometimes. Not perfect, but he battled in there, and they moved it when he was in there. So I think he's got to give him the nod.
Yep, I agree. All right, we got one more from Christopher J. Rich Pisces. Thanks for the 999. I think we struggle against either. I think we struggle against either Miami or Texas A&M. Guys were running open against Michigan. Underwood is young. Mendoza is terrific QB. Both Miami and Texas A&M have terrific QBs. We'll see. Again, these are the same. I hear you, Christopher. This is my retort to that. Is that when you're coming fresh off of a loss where you see some issues, you kind of get, this is just my opinion as a fan and what I see with fans. Okay. We tend to get tunnel vision into the deficiencies and we lose, in my opinion, overall perspective of the bigger picture of the total picture of what Ohio State has to offer. And that wasn't our best game. And then on the flip side of it is, if you've watched Texas A&M and Miami this year, they got warts. They got warts. Okay, they're good teams, but they have holes and warts. And so there's things that we do that are terrible matchups for them. Yes, they got good quarterbacks, although I'm not that impressed with your boy Sleepy Eyes, Beck. I'm not impressed with Beck like that. I'm more concerned about A&M's quarterback because he's mobile. But I think it's going to be, I put it like this, I like our chances in these games. Am I saying it's going to be an easy game? No, not necessarily, but it doesn't have to be because we're that good when we're playing well and when we have a great game plan and coaching well. Nevada.
Yeah,
You
I
there?
mean,
Okay.
I am here. Here's my point. Mendoza was, widely considered the favorite for the Heisman coming in. Indiana averaging 45 points a game, and we held them to 13. And
Yeah.
frankly, I think they were lucky to get the 13. I mean, I really do think they were lucky to get 13. They weren't moving it in chunks. There were some just absolutely egregious holding, like some of the worst holding calls that I've ever seen in my life that were not called. I'm not talking about subtle in the scrum. Some guy grabbed a guy's shoulder. I'm talking about out in the open tackling guys on the field on drives that turned into points for Indiana. So I think I really think they were fortunate to get to 13. So it's hard for me to be really scared about Miami or Texas A&M's offense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're good. And I saw Texas A&M, they came back, had a great thing about South Carolina, but I also saw them give up 28 points in a half to South
Yep.
Carolina too. So, you know,
South Carolina.
yeah, South Carolina. So I think we're going to be okay. I think defensively, frankly, I feel like the defense answered any question that I had about how legitimate we are against IU. Because like I said, IU scored 13, and I'm telling you, they were lucky to get 13. It took an incredible throw and catch, a pass interference call, four misholds, you know what I'm saying, for them to
Yeah.
get to 13. So I think teams are going to have a real hard time scoring against us. Just my opinion.
Agreed. And one quick thing, Nevada, it's been funny looking at the TikToks and IGs and stuff like that. You have multiple content creators who are not Ohio State fans. Do y'all hear me? These aren't Buckeyes. These are just random content creators showing Kenyatta Jackson being mugged by two guys, saying it's the worst non-holding call ever. So you say, oh, you Buckeyes are crying and making excuses. No, we're not. We're not even pressed about that loss. I don't listen. If it was two different teams and I saw it come across my timeline, I'd have like, what the heck? Why ain't they call that? That's all we're saying. It was some really bad. And then any NFL fans, well, it was holding on both sides. Show me the film. Show me that anything that was equal to that. Just post it. I haven't seen anything yet. That's all we're saying, man. Just acknowledge it instead of deflecting and make it seem like we're just crying. Stop ignoring the facts. We could all see this. It was terrible. Okay. That's all we're saying. All right. I'm done. Okay. So anyway, that's it for the super chats. Great show, fun show. We got, it's prep time for these games, man. And I kind of wish I knew who we were playing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go watch both teams again. This is just what I do. I'm gonna go watch some A&M games and some Miami games and just kind of because I'm just a nerd and a weirdo and obsessed. So I'm gonna do that. But yeah, now we just gotta wait and see what happens, man. And hopefully Ryan Day, can get us through these waters, like we've been saying with this Hartline stuff, because it's definitely a something. And I'm just hoping and praying that we can do it. And I believe we will, because Ryan Day is the man for the job. Nevada, any last things before we hop off?
No, Ryan Day is absolutely the man for the best coach in college football. And I absolutely believe we'll get it done. So I'm excited. That's why I'm going down to Dallas. I wouldn't leave my house and go to Dallas, watch a game if I didn't think we were going to be winning. So that's where I'll be. And if you got anybody's got a private plane with an extra seat on it, B Moses is ready to go. He's like, call me, baby. It's like, call me, call me, call me.
In about 15 minutes, I'm like, hey, this is Hank Williams, or your angel investor here in Columbus, Ohio. I own a
Would you
couple
like to get on
properties.
the private plane? You're like, yes, I will. Yes, I will get on the private plane.
And then I show up and it's a
You're
propeller
like,
jet with rust on it.
I think I'll hang out with you fellas for a while.
We shall see, man.
Yeah.
We shall see. But listen, love y'all, Buckeye Scoop family, Buckeye Nation. Until next time, peace and go Bucks.